Hi everyone, welcome back to the Comptia Network Plus course, the -n switch. The -n switch is a modifier for other switches. When used with them, it reverses the natural tendency of netstat to use names instead of network addresses. In other words, when you use the -n switch, the output always displays the network addresses instead of their associated network names. Following is output from the netstat command used with the netstat -n command. It's showing the same information but with IP addresses instead of names. So C users T lamel netstat, active connections, proto, local address, foreign address, state, TCP 10.100.10.54 54737 GNT exchange 1151 established. TCP 10.100.10.54 54955 GNT exchange 1026 established. TCP 120.0.0.1 2492 global net TOD 54840 established. TCP 127.0.0.1 54516 global net TOD 62514 established. TCP 127.0.0.1 54840 global net TOD 2492 established. TCP 127.0.0.1 62514 global net TOD 54516 established. TCP 192.168.0.6 2492 blue grow 2 relay 2492 established. TCP 192.168.0.6 2492 blue grow 3 relay 2492 established. TCP 192.168.0.6 54527 6412 25.26 5190 established. TCP 192.168.0.6 54531 OEM D05C 5190 established. TCP 192.168.0.6 55163 207.123 44.123 HTTP close wait. So I'm not going to read the rest of this one because I want to get on with reading the rest of this. Using TCP dump. TCP dump utility is used to read either packets captured live from network or packets that have been saved to a file. Although there is a Windows version called WinDump, TCP dump only works on Unix-like operating systems. Examples of using TCP dump: use this command to capture traffic on all interfaces. hash TCP dump -i any. Here is the command to capture traffic on a particular interface. Hash TCP dump -i ETH0, and to filter traffic by IP, whether it's the source or the destination, use this command. Hash TCP dump host 192.168.5.5 using the file transfer protocol. You already know that file transfer protocol FTP is a subset of TCP IP and that FTP is used for the transfer of files. In recent years, FTP has become a truly cross-platform protocol for transferring files. Because internet and thus TCP IP use has skyrocketed, almost every client and server platform has implemented FTP. Windows is no exception. Its TCP IP stack comes with a command line FTP utility. To start the FTP utility, enter FTP at command prompt. The result is an FTP command prompt. C users tlamal FTP. From this prompt you can open a connection to an FTP server and upload and download files, as well as change the way FTP operates. To display a list of all commands you can use at the FTP command prompt, type help or question mark and press enter. To get help on a specific command, type help and space and then the name of the command. Here is some output from the help command. Ftp help commands may be abbreviated. Commands are I think that's question mark, no it's not, sorry I can't remember what that one is. Delete literal prompt, send question mark, debug, ls, put, status, append, dir, mdelete, pwd, trace, ASCII, disconnect, mdir, quit, type, bell, get, mget, quote, user, binary, blob, mkdir, recv, verbose, by, hash, mls, remote help, cd help, put, rename, close, lcd, open, rmdir, ftp. In the following sections I'll give you an introduction to uploading and downloading files, because every network technician and administrator positively needs to know how to do this. As they come up I'll go over the specific commands necessary to perform these two operations, as well as any commands that relate to those processes. But first let's look at how to begin the process. Starting FTP and logging into an FTP server. Of the two FTP file operations, download and upload, the ability to download files is definitely the more crucial for you to have down as a network technician or sysadmin. The reasons it's so important for you to master is that the network and client operating system drivers and patches are located on FTP servers all over the internet. The first steps in starting an FTP download session are to determine the address of the FTP site and start the FTP utility. The FTP site typically has the same name as the website, except that the first three characters are FTP instead of www. For example, Microsoft's website, which is www.microsoft.com, its FTP site on the other hand is ftp.microsoft.com. We'll use my personal FTP site as an example for the rest of this section, because it works so I can actually log into it. First, start the FTP utility as the rest of this the rest of the section, so I can actually log into it. First, start the FTP utility as demonstrated earlier, and then follow these steps. At the FTP command prompt, type open, a space, and the name of the FTP server like this. C users tlamal FTP, open ftp.lamal.com, connected to ftp.lamal.com 220, welcome to pure FTP TLS 220, you are user number 1 of 50 allowed, 220, local time is now 11:45, server port 21, 220 IPv6 connections are also welcome on this server. 220, you will be disconnected after 15 minutes of inactivity. User ftp.lamal.com non-enter. 230, anonymous user logged in FTP. As shown here, if the FTP server is available and running, you will receive a response welcoming you to the server and asking you for a username. Right now I just have anonymous as the username enabled by FTP enabled by default on the FTP server, which means that anyone can log into it. You can also start an FTP session by typing FTP, a space, and the address of the FTP server. For example, FTP globalnettraining.com. This allows you to start the FTP utility and open a connection in one step. Here's an example. C user tlaml FTP ftp.globalnettraining.com connected to FTP globalnettraining.com 220 Microsoft FTP service. User FTP globalnettraining.com non-Todd 331 password required for Todd, password not shown when typed. 230 user Todd logged in. FTP quit 2, enter a valid username and press enter. 3, enter your password and press enter. The password won't show up when you type it. If you enter the wrong username and or password, the server will tell you so by displaying the following and leaving you at the FTP command prompt. 530 login incorrect, login failed. This means you've got to try again and must start the login process over. If you're successful, the FTP server will welcome you and drop you back at the FTP command. You're now ready to start uploading and downloading files. After you log into the FTP server, you'll navigate to the directory that contains the files you want. Thankfully, the FTP command line interface is similar to DOS command line interface. This is no surprise because DOS is based on Unix and FTP is a Unix utility. Table 17.8 lists and describes the common navigation commands for FTP. Remember that these are also case sensitive. After you navigate to the directory and find the file you want to download, it's time to set parameters for the type of file. Files come in two types: ASCII, which contains text, binary, which is all other files. If you set FTP to the wrong type, the file you download will contain gibberish. So if you're in doubt, set FTP to download files as binary. Check out table 17.8. Command description ls, short for list, displays the directory listing, very similar to the dir command in MS-DOS. cd, short for change directory, works almost identically to MS-DOS cd command. Use it to change to a different directory and navigate the server's directory structure. pwd, short for print working directory, displays the current directory on the server, useful if you forgot where you are when changing to several locations on the server. lcd, short for local change directory, displays and changes the current directory on the local machine, useful when you are downloading a file and aren't in the directory where you want to put the file. To set the file type to ASCII, type ASCII at the FTP command prompt. FTP will respond by telling you that the file has been set to a ASCII. FTP ASCII type set to A. To set the file to binary, type binary at the FTP command. FTP will respond by telling you that the FTP has been set to one binary. FTP binary type set to I think, or 1. To download the file, just use the get command ftp get lamelexpress.exe 200 port command successful 150 opening binary mode data connection for scrsav.exe 567018 bytes. The file will start downloading to your hard drive. Unfortunately, with its default settings, the FTP utility doesn't give you any indication of the progress of the transfer. When the file has downloaded, the FTP utility will display the following message and return you to the FTP command. 226 transfer complete, 567018 bytes received in 116.72 seconds, 4.88 kbytes SEC. So I'm going to here today for this video. If you like listening, please consider like, sharing and subscribing. Thank you.